where the good
we like
gold
to think
is.
so. Yeah.
So it was like coaching Miami in 1990. And
Wow.
well, no, it was just interesting. That was an interesting time in college football.
Yeah.
I was wondering what the interesting part of your background.
It was awesome. Miami at that time was probably the program in the nation, and some great players, great people. I think we had the image of the bad boys and all that stuff, but there was some phenomenal young men there, and learned a lot. And it was around some great coaches, and so it was a fun place to start.
Coming here and following Jonathan, just what went into that decision? How important, or why was it important to you, I guess, to take that opportunity?
I think Jonathan's he does a great job. He's a great coach to work for. He lets us coach, but then he's also there to help us, and he'll come and say something, and he's usually right on. I think the man he is, the program he runs, for me is a no-brainer. The chance to come here is a little bit pretty cool for me. My mom's an alumni, so really? I grew up hearing about the Spartans, and even though I was a West Coast kid and spent my whole life in the West Coast, she was always talking about the Spartans in the Big Ten. So that part of it kind of made it was a bonus to me.
You were on staff when he was a player. Did you see this from him? Did he show traits of this coming?
Yes.
What was he like
yes.
then? And
yes. Yes.
He
was not the tallest quarterback. Very level-headed, but very, very competitive. I think some people don't realize the competitiveness in him, And so, and for me, we had never worked together. I mean, he was a player when I was a coach. I was a young coach back then. I had more hair, not much more, but he was, the person he was, the competitiveness he was, and when he got the head job at Oregon State and asked me to join him, to me it was a no-brainer. I just want to be with good people and have a chance to win. And being with him and being here, I think, is both those things.
What year did your mom graduate?
I'm not even sure. She's not with us anymore.
Did she bring you here before? Or?
No, I've never been here. Yeah, so,
cool.
So it was way back, and she was here. I've been trying to figure it out. About 50, I think.
I mean, what was the conversations like when you took the job?
Unfortunately, my mom passed away.
I was going to ask that too.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
I would imagine that's probably special though. For
No, I think it's kind of cool. She's up there somewhere, smiling.
What did she say to you about Michigan State? That you
just as a kid, she'd always be. I was a West Coast kid, and she'd always say Big Ten and go green and things. You can tell, and it's the same thing here. The people here are, it's a neat culture. The people in Michigan are awesome, friendly, so connected to the university, so connected to the program. It's really fun to be a part of it.
Sorry. What have the first 4 months or so been like?
Crazy.
Coming in, getting all the talking to all the guys, getting everybody on the same page.
It's been a little bit crazy. It's been a little bit hectic. It's been kind of fun though. I think there's some good young men here. They're fun guys to coach. It was also kind of showing him the vision, how we're going to do things, how Coach Smith does things, the type of program we run. It's been fun. It's been fun getting to know these guys.
How has it been in terms of passing the message on to the guys that were here, and how much do you kind of use the guys that you brought with you to kind of filter that away?
I think there's some of that, but in the same respect, I think kids nowadays they're not dummies, right? They know when people are trying to sell them on things, and they know when things are fake and when things aren't real. And I think it's I think that part of it is still ever evolving. I think as we get to know each other and they get to know more of the program and we develop as a team and grow as a program, I think that's the part that I hope these kids will buy into, like they did at Oregon State when we were there.
Yeah, I know. We talked to a couple guys last week that said that I can't remember who that was. They said that Tanner has really helped kind of lead the transition for the line.
Yeah, and I think it's good having Tanner here because he's able to, kind of talk about expectations and those things.
Is he mainly center, main guard, or is 50-50, or still?
He's going to play center, and he played guard last year for me at Oregon State. We had a fifth-year senior center, and so that was going to be his spot.
He was going to be moving into that?
Yes.
Okay.
And he actually started a few games and played center last year when our other guy got hurt.
And with the rest of the group there, you've got some guys that haven't played much and some guys who have played a lot. How's that all sorting out right now?
I think when you're starting fresh, you go back to the beginning. You go back to the basics. We got to teach everything. And really, right now, I always say, and you're going to ask me this sometime later, who's your hey, we don't have to pick starters. There is no starters. We're just trying to get better. When it gets game time, we'll get the best 5 guys on the field and the best guys in the plane.
How much do you have you diagnosed, I guess, the running game from last year and like what the things that worked and didn't work, I guess?
You know what? More watched it as the players, not so much the scheme. We kind of have our scheme, and I feel really good about what we do and how we do it. And so it's more about us teaching that than looking at the other stuff.
Speaking of the scheme, the wide zone aspect of it, I mean, how long does it take for that to kind of develop and mesh to where everybody's kind of on the same page?
I think whatever scheme you do, if you want to be more complex and more challenging to a defense, it's going to take a while. This is no different. It's and it's not all we do. We do a lot of different things. So we'll see how well we evolve and how well we pick it up, and we're flexible enough in the system that we use that we can do a lot of different things and not just rely on one thing.
How different does week 3 look compared to week 1 with a bunch of guys?
Every day is getting better, and that's what we need to do. I mean, every day we need to get better. From if a kid's here 4 or 5 years, every day, if he gets better, then they'll be pretty good. So far it's fun to see the progress, and then it's frustrating because we still got a lot more work to do.
How much is it, with the transfer portal opening up April 16th, a lot of people are looking at it like a doomsday because of, the 2-time, basically you can transfer as many times as you want, and now with the NIL inducement aspect of it, I mean, how much are coaches a little bit leery about, like, saying who's a starter, who's not, because of, the idea that,
I can see where you're going. I mean, to me, it's never been about who's a starter until you get to the game. I don't, and that's been for my whole career. My job's to help these guys grow and develop on and off the field, and then also to help win football games and to put the best guys out there. So it's their job to keep growing and developing, and be the best they can be. And at the same point, we got to do what's best for this team and get the best guys out. So their job is to prove they're the guys that can go out there and win championships.
How challenging is though walking into a new program in this environment where player movement can happen at any point?
I think it's a lot more challenging. Yeah. I think it's I'd like to think the kids are going to buy into our program because of the way we do it and how we do it, and they feel like it's something that we're going to win, and they're going to be successful, and they're going to feel a part of it.
He's one of those guys that has a really unique story going on from walk-on to where he is now. I mean, how have you seen him just take on having all that experience and having gone through that, be a step up as a leader? Like, what do you think of his
he's done great. I mean, he's a guy that's just, you talk about self-made, and the best players are. I mean, we recruit all these guys and hope they're going to be this and that. The ones that work and develop and continue to grow are the ones that always become great players. And he's one of those guys. His work ethic is, every day he gets a little bit better. And so it's pretty cool.
That he wanted to follow you guys over here. What does that say, you hope, I guess, about you or the program that he wanted to be a part of it?
Yeah,
again,
I think it, you have to ask him that. I'm just happy he's here. He's been a fun guy to coach, and he does things the right way. He's going to be successful in football. He's going to be successful in whatever he does in life because of the type of person he is.
But I guess as a coach, for a player to want to follow you guys, like, how does that feel, or what was your reaction?
I think it's kind of validation of what you do and how you run your program.
So you got scrimmaging coming up. Have you been able to do a little of it yet, or not much?
Not much. We did very little. It's more, like I said, there's a lot of teaching that's going on. A lot of everything, even with the veteran guys, everything's new. And you're kind of back to square one. And looking forward to a little bit of scrimmage and just let them go. But at the same time, we're doing some things that we see where we're at. And as long as we're getting better every day, and that's the encouraging thing. You can see it kind of coming. Now we just got to keep going.
When you got here, did you watch a lot of the Michigan State's game film from last year, practice film, a combination of both to get a
little bit of both? I was really more looking at not what they did as much as who the players were, how they would fit, what we wanted to do, and I thought that was good. I think, going through it, there was guys and that they could fit into our system. We need guys a little bit more athletic that can move and do things, and I think we got those guys here.
And you'd have to look at the practice film for some of the second and third
Some of the
stringers.
young guys, yep. You know, and some guys there wasn't much film. There's some guys that had been hurt and things like that. So, and then it was sitting down, meeting, and getting to know everybody. You know, and what are their goals and how do they see themselves fitting in.
When you're putting together kind of an offensive line, how much is it an advantage to have a mobile quarterback to kind of maybe kind of give that a little
It's
bit
a pretty good
transition? Yeah.
pretty good advantage,
Yeah.
you know, and us coaches, we want to diagram everything. Every play is precision diagrammed, you know, and then sometimes you need guys to go out and make a play. If it be a lineman to do a little extra and get an extra block on another guy, or a quarterback to make up for somebody else, or a receiver to break a tackle or make a spectacular catch or whatever. You know, I think that mobility at quarterback allows, and you can see it in the NFL, right? You know, there's a lot of plays that sometimes don't go like they're drawn and can turn in still be pretty good.
I've heard a lot of O-line coaches say, like, the blueprint for most guys, is 3 years, then you're sort of ready to be in the mix. Is that sort of how you see it?
I don't
or
like
is
to
it
think that
always-
way.
Okay.
I think there's a lot more, you know, the level as you go from high school to college, the jump from as an offensive lineman is a lot bigger than the jump from as a receiver.
Sure.
Coach Hawkins, our receiver coach, might argue with me here, but I think the physicalness, the development, you know, 18-year-olds versus 21, 22-year-olds, there's some difference in growth. But, you know, there's no timeline. There's no program thing. Let's get better every day and let's see how good we can be.
How are things looking at tackle? You got some guys with some starting experience. Ramil was a guy that had some ability but was on the shelf last year. What's that looking like?
You know, like I said, we're getting better. You know, are we where we're going to be? No, it's just as long as we keep getting better. To me, it's almost early to make those judgments.
Same
Ethan,
probably
is
for
Ethan-
someone like Christian Phillips, who's been coming around, getting his body in shape. And how's he looking with his quickness? You say you need his quickness.
He's
on the
quick.
line,
He can move, and he's doing stuff, and he's mentally learning the system and all those things. So, I've been happy with this whole group.
Ethan Boyd been doing okay? We just haven't seen him out there.
Yeah,
this
he's
couple
doing
weeks.
okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.